Guys, episode 31 of the Blacklisted Voice. Logan and I sit down, kind of discuss some of our thoughts on the Open and some kind of training philosophies and thought process on maybe how to better judge the Open. Hopefully you guys enjoy, give it a listen, and we'll catch you guys next time. So 20.1, what are your thoughts on the wall walks?
Man, when I first saw this workout, I thought it was a typo because someone texted me. No, they had a typo. They said wall balls and double unders. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, they texted you wall balls
Yeah,
and
they
double
said
unders?
wall balls and double unders, and I was like, okay, that's
Not bad.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up online, and it said wall walks, and I was like, this has got to be the minimal equipment version.
Yeah, you're like, I'm on the wrong.
Yeah,
I'm on the wrong.
I'm on the wrong thing. But then it was wall walks, and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure enough, because I was actually working at the time, I wasn't able to watch
you were at the football game.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and so I wasn't able to watch the Open announcement.
Right.
So yeah, I was a little bit taken back.
Yeah.
Just at first, just I didn't know how they were gonna do the standard.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, honestly, for what the workout was, the standard, it worked, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you saw Brent Fikowski, who's a bigger athlete, actually do pretty well on the workout. So
Yeah.
It seemed like it was probably the most fair standard they've had for handstands in general, minus walking in the Open.
Yeah, I think the only people, there was a few people that kind of there's always going to be outliers,
Yeah.
people that just have for whatever reason really short arms compared
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the rest of their body,
Right.
So they just have to take more steps,
Right.
But I mean, just how some people had, I think it was if you had short forearms for the handstand standard, it was a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I knew that if you had long limbs, it was an advantage because I
Okay.
had people that were they had long arms,
Okay.
and their heel was 3 inches
Above the line.
and mine was barely there.
Yeah. Yeah. So his long forearms was a disadvantage. So then somebody like Justin Medeiros would that would
I
not
think
be
so.
good for him.
No, it was short forearms were a disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Because Jacob Hebner had short forearms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
then
what it was.
Medeiros
Because
would be,
remember you
solid.
measured.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Medeiros would have been solid on that one then, because he's
Yeah.
got longer forearms.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, I actually kind of liked the standard because it broke it down. It was more of a skill than it was an actual capacity movement.
Yeah.
As long as you could figure out how to get the three. It was three. It seemed like 3 steps there, 3 steps back was
Yeah.
what you needed to do. And it was kind of cool to watch how fast people were able to pick that up. Watching it on
Yeah.
Friday to watching it people do it on Monday was completely different. And how fast they were able to be oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then repeat that inside of a workout was
Yeah.
pretty impressive. So I thought that was pretty cool. But you had brought something up about you feel that wall walks are more of a test of fitness than it is.
Yeah, I feel so if you're just testing just flat out shoulder endurance,
Yeah.
I think wall walks probably are a better test of fitness.
Okay.
But someone, I forget who posted it, but someone made that point. They're it's actually a better test of fitness than handstand walks.
Okay.
But I also made the point, and to that post, I was well, so are bear crawls.
Yeah.
Bear crawls are going to get your heart rate up more and probably be more cardiorespiratory taxing than
Yeah.
a handstand walk.
Right.
So I think there's a little bit of, I don't know, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
I think, for sure it does test some of the same things as a handstand walk,
Mm-hmm.
or some shoulder to overhead or anything really shoulder endurance based. But I think just CrossFit HQ in general needs to make a more a decision on whether they're going to define the sport as testing fitness or they're going to define the sport as testing CrossFit.
Yeah.
I think they gravitate towards just testing CrossFit.
Yeah.
Where fitness is just it just helps. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, it does test fitness for sure.
Right.
But I think it's just a sport like anything else, and a sport where being fit helps tremendously.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you're gonna have like a testing battery of fitness, like strength, endurance, explosiveness, whatever you want to do, it's probably best that you test those all separately.
Yeah, right.
But like CrossFit doesn't.
Right.
So it's like it changes it. Like it's, the stronger man might not be able to lift as much when he's tired, rather than a CrossFitter who's used to it. Does that make one fitter more than the other?
Yeah.
According to CrossFit, it does.
Yeah. And according to that one test, it does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's just like at times I've seen it where, okay, we're definitely going in the direction of just testing CrossFit, and sometimes it's, fitness where it's like, a half marathon or marathon row,
right.
Just a back squat or just a front squat. So yeah, I thought it was just interesting, and I understand it is like a first test of many leading up to the games.
Right,
but
right.
I don't know. I just think that I like testing more CrossFit and more sport type testing.
Yeah.
Just because I like the sport aspect of it more. But I don't know. It's just interesting. I think it's just, it seems like it varies kind of year to year on what their ideas are. And I understand that it was like a minimalist open.
Right.
And I am excited to see like quarterfinals, like more like GHDs, rope climbs, and maybe like, who knows, I mean, we've heard anywhere from 3 to 6 events with that weekend. That's more sport specific. But I think just in general, sometimes it's hard to see, I guess, how it all
the big picture.
Lines up. Because like I think no matter how simple the test, the guys at the top of the game should be doing well.
Right.
Which a lot of them did do.
Yeah.
But this was probably just around, like, it was a new movement and everything like that. But this was probably like the most just blown away I ever was to see some athletes do better. Like, it was not uncommon for a class member to beat
somebody who's like training really
someone's training hard. Training really hard for this, and or even like a semi sanctional regional athlete, and that just shouldn't happen. But and it's like, I understand everyone, you're gonna have a weakness and it can be exposed, but like wall walks, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was cool to see how everyone adapted, like you said. But I think it could have been, I mean, heck, I said it. I think a handstand hold, shoulder taps, maybe would have been
like a little bit more like almost
something that just like correlates, because like I don't really like giving wall walks for someone to get better at handstand walks.
Right.
So like, I think in my opinion, it should be something that is like the lower version of the skill, but also transfers over to it.
Right.
That's just my opinion, but
no, that makes sense. I guess like you would have to figure out where Dave would be wanting to classify this movement as. Is it like a precursor to handstand walks? Does he see it as his own standalone movement? And he's testing some other sort of capacity inside of that movement. So like, I think you'd have to like get him to like describe what his thought process was.
For sure.
Like, that's the other thing that's interesting is like everyone has their own thought process on like how they view fitness, and like CrossFit defines it as like constantly varied, like basically everything. So it's like so like by their definition, this is testing fitness, because it's like it's testing something that's unknown and unknowable. But then like you starting to get into like the literature and like the scientifics, like all about VO2 max and like, absolute strength, explosive ability, like velocity. So it's like everyone kind of has like their own definition of fitness, and like it would be interesting to hear Dave's definition of this workout, because like really the only person you're going to be able to like figure it out from is from him, you know, and like what he was looking for specifically in this test. So it's like, but I mean, I think like, again, I kind of liked it from like a skill component side of it, and like it was a little bit more of a skill, which I think translates a little bit better into the sport. Like when you start getting to those higher levels of hey, like you have to pick up this skill in your 30 minutes in the warm-up area before you go out to the regional floor or sanctional floor or whatever, continental floor.
Yeah.
3 names now.
Whatever it's called now.
Yeah, whatever it's called now. Or out to the games field. You
Yeah.
know? Like they had the pig in 2013 that nobody had touched before. They had the thick rope climbs that nobody had touched before in 2014.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I thought like you would see a little bit more of like athleticism coming from that skill standpoint, which is kind of what they tend to test at the games.
Yeah.
Coming from that. So I thought it was like pretty cool to see that. And then again, how quickly people were able to pick up on that.
Oh yeah.
So I liked it. I mean, I definitely don't, like you said, I don't give wall walks to anybody for learning how to handstand walk.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't get upside down, like we'll put you in a pike position in the box. Like,
sure.
I'm not gonna have you walk up a wall. Like,
yeah.
So, like that was kind of interesting. But I think the only way we would like figure that out is if we actually know what Dave's thought process was on that.
And I kind of wish there was a little bit more. It would be nice to have like sometimes an explanation.
Like even if they were just like at the end of the week, like on Tuesdays or something, they're like, hey, this was my thought process behind this workout.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you would probably start to get into like, oh, okay, now we're seeing like patterns and trends inside Dave's thought process.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Maybe it changes from year to year too.
Yeah, for sure. I think if he did that, people would give him more credit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if he was like, well, this is actually why. And there is something to, because I think that's
or they might discredit and be like, this dude's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's not what it tested at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, when he first announced it, he said that people were going to go around 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what the announcer said.
The announcer said that?
Yeah, they were like, when Dave had people test this, he said the top time was like 10:23 or something like that.
Who did that?
I'm like, that had to have been a different variation of that.
That had to have been. Or like they didn't do the standard right or
something. Or they changed the standard. Like it had to have been something like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a fucking freak out there that nobody's seen fitnessing for Dave or something like that.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I could see, I don't know what Allison Scudd's involvement is. Maybe it was her. Maybe she demoed it.
Yeah.
Because she's like the demo person. But she is doing the open, so I don't know how they do that.
Oh, that'd be weird.
I don't know if like they give her a certain amount, they like tell her the workout, and then they give her a certain amount of days, and then she does it.
And that's her like score or something like that.
I would imagine that's how.
Yeah. Or maybe they just have her film, this is all speculation, maybe they just have her film a buckload of movements or something like that. But then she would know that wall walks were coming up.
Yeah.
But maybe she wouldn't know if it was like, this is going to be like the scaled or at-home equipment,
Right.
She would still know to practice them, so it'd probably be like an unfair advantage. I don't know.
I wonder if they popped up on main sites. Because typically, typically they'll have some new thing go there first.
Yeah. That would be interesting to go back and look at. What to do that.
But I mean, I would, in future reference. I mean, I know people always say look at it, but I'd always, forget to.
Yeah, it's like there's just like no. Yeah, I don't know.
You need like a notification thing every time there's like a new movement on main site.
On main site, it like pops up. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What did you think about 20.2?
I mean, it was the retest. Yeah, I think everyone that's done it before had like a huge advantage on that one. The whole open this year I thought was like pretty interesting because most of my athletes PR'd that workout.
Same. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I know like you didn't, but you kind of had some outlying circumstances.
Yeah.
And if you were to retest that one, you probably literally 2 weeks before that, you finished that workout 30 seconds faster.
Yeah.
So I would count that as a PR for that workout.
For sure. For sure.
So most of my athletes PR'd it. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was anyone that didn't. And that's probably just prevalence of actually putting dumbbell snatches into people's programming at this point in time. I know I do that a lot leading up into the open. It's just high volumes of dumbbell snatches.
Yeah.
I had done intervals for most of my clients leading up to the open with some sort of dumbbell snatch and burpee or giving them that workout. Just because that was just speculation. If there's a dumbbell, there's a box. That's one of the workouts we can do. Very low equipment. for this year,
Yep.
it seems like that would make sense as to
Yeah.
that being the retest. So I know there's like a couple other variations of things that you could have done, like the deadlift and box jump one from 2014. But yeah, it was. I mean, you gotta freaking move with that dumbbell now. Like that dumbbell for the top athletes is like nothing. And
Yeah.
Like your burpee box jump speed at this point in time is like, I think Colton Meyer did this workout. It was like 9, almost sub 9 or something like that, I think. So your burpee box jump speed is looking at like almost like 2 to 2.5 seconds of burpee and holding that for like 75 plus reps. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, box jump, like, I think if you did some standard, because like being taller athletes, like it fucking sucks in the sport.
Yeah.
But if you did some sort of standard where like you required like a jump over the box, like it would start to create a little bit more of like a quote unquote fairness or like equal power output for the athletes.
Yeah.
You know? So that would be cool if they started making people like clear the box.
Yeah.
Obviously that runs into like a safety hazard
For sure.
most people.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if you're looking to compete at like a sanctional or continental, whatever the fuck you call it, it would be cool if they had like maybe some different standards for that or something.
Yeah.
Because like it would just be cool to see like, because their whole thing, like CrossFit's whole thing is like power output, and like we can look back to the Brent Fikowski Mary from last year. Like, yeah, Noah technically beat him on the workout,
right?
But if you look at the power output, like for every pull up or something like that, Brent Fikowski was doing like, had like 1.5 times the power output that Noah had.
It was, I mean, he had to, I mean, yeah, he weighs more, but like also just levers,
yeah.
I mean, he was doing way more work.
Right,
I mean, you know?
Yeah, and that was from like WOD Science or Fitness Analytics.
Yeah.
One of those guys put out that post.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it'd be cool if they started like figuring out how to like make it a little bit more equal power output wise. Like, cause like I know my like 1248 on that is probably, and like I'm 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I'm 6'2", like so I'm moving that dumbbell like significantly more than most people.
Oh yeah.
So there's added work onto that, and then I'm moving my freaking body that's 230 pounds over the box. So like there's significantly more work than that. So like my 1248 power output is probably higher than somebody who might be, you know, 175-ish, getting like 12 minutes on this workout at like 5'8". So
for sure,
it'd be interesting to like have them try and figure out some sort of way to like weight the power output a little bit more evenly, or like some sort of handicap or something like that. I don't know. It'd just be cool to see the actual amount of work that somebody does versus like just seeing the score. And that's not trying to take away anything from anybody who, you know, from Colton who freaking crushed that workout. That's still fucking amazing,
it's still like there's no doubt that he's fit.
Because like, and like, you know, even if you were to equal out the power outputs, like there's no way I'm producing as much power as him on the workout. But now you kind of see like, oh shit, like this guy was really moving for, you know, on this workout. So it would just be interesting to see, and just kind of like balance out some of the power output, or just put a 225 plus division.
Or just have like, I was thinking about it, you know, I actually like the burpee box jump overs for a better equalizer. As opposed to regular burpees or bar facing burpees. It seems like someone like Brent Fikowski can still get a good score on a burpee box jump over workout as opposed to bar facing burpees.
For sure.
Like, there's so many people I know that literally the only reason why they're slower on bar facing burpees is because they're almost 6 foot. Over 6 foot. And then I also think, I don't know how you would do this. But having almost a contraction limit on workouts, because obviously if you have 150 dumbbell snatches, the more contractions you have, the more it's about, you know, how tall someone is. So, I mean, I think maybe a good way would be like, look at all these open workouts, look at how many contractions, and then look at who won the workouts. And then like look and see kind of where that number is, where like, okay, if it's if it's like a 7-minute AMRAP of burpees and the winning time was 150 reps, okay, the guy that won that's 5.5. That's probably too many burpees for a given workout.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I think it would be,
or like almost some sort of like, you have to like, this would be like, this would be unfeasible to do.
Yeah.
Like putting like almost like a GPS on the dumbbell or some sort of like monitor on the dumbbell and being like, in this workout on this round, you have to move the dumbbell, 600 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
So like now that's up and down is 12.
Right.
So like for a 6-foot person, or I guess a little bit over 12.
Yeah.
So like now you have to move the dumbbell 600 feet. So you're actually accounting for like the extra length that somebody has.
I mean, essentially that would be rowing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that would be, I don't know, that would be kind of interesting to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But again, this is all like hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's not why we do the sport,
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting, like we had a strength test.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any CrossFit movements that favored anyone even a little bit tall.
Right. No rowing, no
which,
balls.
I mean, that's I understand that's what quarterfinals are for. So this year I'm more on the edge of, I don't really mind what the programming is for the Open.
Yeah.
Because they're going to test all that other stuff.
Right.
Because, I mean, wall balls, rowing is already going to be in quarterfinals for sure. I mean, rope climbs, I mean, that's going to favor taller people.
Right. I think you're starting to get a little bit away from that, though.
Really?
Yeah, I think some of the, like, so when we're saying taller, we're probably referencing like 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet.
Yeah.
And when you look at a typical CrossFitter that's like quote unquote elite, you're looking at 5'7", 6, probably 5'6" to 5'8" for the male, and then 5'4" to 5'6", more so in the 5'5" for the female.
Yeah.
I think you're starting to see males get to the point where their capacity isn't tested as much on a 15-foot rope. So they're all almost 2 poles to the top. Like they understand how to bring their hands to their feet to their hands better.
Right.
So you're looking at more, and then their lock-in's really solid. So you're looking at more, a little bit less capacity tested and a little bit less advantage for taller athletes on the rope climb. I think if they were to bump it up to 20 feet though, that would significantly show a difference.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So, yeah, but sorry, that was like a digression of your point. Sorry.
Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting to see, and I mean, like something like GHCs. GHCs are going to give people with longer levers an advantage. Which I like seeing just more apparatuses used that favor different types of athletes. Because I think if you are actually testing fitness, you need to do that.
Totally, The workout that I liked, one of the best workouts programmed at the games was that chaos workout. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Because like you had a red line that you had to jump to. So like it was, if you were short, like you had to jump to it. If you were tall, like Brendan Pukowski, he just stood up and touched it. Like that was like the most. And then I think they went into like pistols or something after that. So it was like the most balanced you could probably get inside of the workout. Yeah. It's like almost like doing something like this fucking episode, I guess, just goes to talking about tall and short athletes. But something like doing like like something that favors the short athlete and the tall athlete, short athlete, tall athlete, or something like that. Would maybe create like a balance inside of the workout or something.
I mean, I like that. We actually, me and my buddy Cannon did a competition that was like that.
Oh, really?
Part of the competition, and everyone had to jump to the same ring height.
Yeah,
so
like
something
awesome. Like that.
But yeah, I think back to the point that I made at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you're really trying to test fitness, technically, fitness shouldn't have an ideal height or weight.
Totally. Yeah.
So fitness technically shouldn't have a height and weight. I understand that it does in CrossFit. But if you could have it to where it's a little less, I mean, it would just depend on your definition. It would just depend on, like, I'm perfectly fine with saying it's just CrossFit. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, and that would take the whatever, like the argument of like power output out of it. Like
Right.
it's almost like if they can just like separate that, because like you see at any level in a sport, like there's a specific athlete type for a specific position. Like a center in
Right.
basketball has to be over 7 feet
Yeah.
tall. Cornerback in football, that's probably the most varied position, is maybe a cornerback or like
Yeah.
a running back or something like that. But like for the most part, you have like a specific subset of like profile or makeup.
Right.
Like a lineman's not going to be playing quarterback, or like a lineman's not going to be playing, you know, cornerback, and a cornerback's not going to be playing on the offensive line for football, you know.
Right.
And a center's probably not going to be dribbling the basketball or ball handling the basketball. You
Yeah.
know? So it's like you have like a specific makeup, but then inside of that you have variance as to what the game's changing to. Like in basketball right now, it seems like the game's going a little bit smaller, actually.
Right.
Well, I could be wrong on that, but like it seemed like the Houston Rockets were playing a little bit smaller basketball last year, and they had a pretty successful season.
Yeah.
Granted, James Harden's a freak, but
Right. Yeah.
like you can see it in quarterbacks, like every other year it's like, hey, we need fast cornerbacks now. Like now it's like, okay, now we need tall cornerbacks because people are going over the top in offense, and like that could change, you know, like with whatever Dave wants to program. Like back in the early 2010, 11, 12, 13, it was like the barbell was like the heavy thing. So like there was like 30 hang power cleans inside of a rowing and pistol workout where there was only 50 pistols. So like now that the row and the barbell become like the thing that people need to move fast on. So a more powerful, heavier athlete is actually going to be favored in a workout like that. And that's kind of what you saw was like, and that's like when I was entering the sport was like, it wasn't uncommon to have 210 plus pound guys at the games because of the regional testers like that.
Right.
And now you're starting to see more of like a shift towards gymnastics in the sport.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the tests this year, it was shoulder endurance for the first one, shoulder endurance and kind of some low back respiratory endurance for the second one. But again, it was a shorter athlete that workout favored, which is going to be a better gymnastics athlete. And then the third one was literally like how good you were at bar muscle ups. So again, it's favoring like more gymnastics type profile.
Yeah.
And then we did have the weightlifting complex, but that would be the outlier of the three previous events.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, to caveat off that, I ran the numbers on like the top 10 like CrossFit open finishers this year.
Right.
And that gymnastics workout, the third workout, had the highest positive correlation to overall open success.
Yeah, because you were saying it was like 35th place over there.
So like I took the top 10, averaged each one of their finishes.
Okay.
And the first workout, it was 53rd.
Okay.
Second workout, 56th. So, I mean, no surprise there. About the same.
Yeah.
Athlete's going to do well. But then the third workout was 35th. Okay. So that was, and a lot of times, you know, I like running this just to.
Yeah. What was the last workout? Was like crazy.
The last workout was 120.
Yeah.
The weightlifting one. So that one, I wasn't really surprised. Just because you're just going to have so many people that might not be elite still be able to hit like a good number. So their overall ranking is not going to be that great. So like, for example, if I have a very well-rounded test in the competition, the whole point of CrossFit is to see who the best is well-rounded. Most likely, that one test will probably be the most positively correlating because in itself it's the most well-rounded test. Most of the time. And you know, I always like looking at that just to like see the validity of the competition. Like because that should be the case. But if it were like, you know, everyone in the top 10, their best score was the wall walk workout, that would be very strange.
Yeah, I almost think too it kind of comes down to like the complexity of the test. Like that the last one was probably the most complex like CrossFit open workout we've had, minus 20.5 where you could start to break up some of the rec schemes. So that was like the 40 muscle ups, 80 cal row, 120 wall balls, where you got to decide how you wanted to partition that. But that one essentially started to fall into a pattern. Like people saw, again, kind of like the wall walks, people saw like, oh, okay, this is the fastest way to do this. I'm just gonna do this way. But this one was like, okay, I have a low volume, kind of a lower skill gymnastics movement. That's kind of like quote unquote the bottleneck of that piece.
Yeah.
Then we get a 1 minute rest. So now you're giving your body a whole bunch of different fatigue factors.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can hammer it on this and then I get rest. And then I can hammer it on a moderate level skill gymnastic and then I get rest again. And then now it gets into quote unquote the bottleneck of the workout with those bar muscle ups in there. So it was probably the most complex CrossFit workout. And I think that's where you start to see some of the like higher level athletes start to shine, is like the complexity of a workout.
And that's where experience comes in.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So like, the wall walk, and they always have one workout that like everybody's able to participate in. Like, snatches and double unders, or the 7 minutes of burpees. Like, there's always one workout that somebody can, or that everyone can participate in. The more, what is it? I guess like numbers you have in the pool, like the higher your number is going to be.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was like, you're gonna like the experience of kind of what you're saying. The experience of the athlete is going to help out a lot. And this one will truly test the capacity of the athlete. Yeah, for sure.
And that kind of shows more of like where we're talking about, like when we say the sport side, where that does come into play. Because like if it's something new, like a wall walk, your experience doesn't necessarily help you out as much.
Right.
You know, like going into that workout, I knew that I needed to break certain parts. I knew how to break bar muscle ups. I knew what my body was supposed to feel like going into a max. Right. You know, there was a lot of people who were just, even some higher level people sold their soul on the first part and couldn't hold on to a barbell. Right. And that was probably, this was probably my favorite open workout, one of my programs. I think it threw a wrench in a lot of people's game in a good way.
Yes, 100%.
You had to ride the line to get a good score on both, and you had to execute really well. You had to push it where you needed to, pace where you had to. And I think it was a good test of relative grip strength into a test, maybe not a test only, but a test of absolute grip strength. Which is nice to see, because most of the time within CrossFit, grip strength or grip endurance is tied into a bodyweight movement. Right. So whether it be bar muscle ups and power snatches, or power snatches and toe to bar, or clean and jerks and chest to bar, there is a body weight component, so it's relative, especially when it's like more reps, like the open workout where it was like power snatches and bar muscle ups. That was a lot to do with grip strength, but more on a relative basis, because you had a gymnastics piece. So we had a bunch of gymnastics, and then you had to go hold on to a barbell. Well, like someone like Noah Olson, he definitely has better relative grip strength or endurance, because he weighs 185 pounds and I weigh 20 pounds heavier. But once we both approach a barbell, I might have better absolute grip strength, and that's all that matters when a barbell
is just like absolute
introduced.
Or just like absolute grip strength, and like the resistance to that. So there's a grip thing that measures like pounds per pressure or something like that. And Lauren, actually one of our sponsors now, was when I was down there one time, and she measured before and then she measured after one of the open workouts, and it was like, so like she did it with me, and then she did it with Z.A. Anderson, and his was higher, and then it was less discrepancy after the workout. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it was like it was a study that she was trying to do. I should ask her about that, because it was pretty interesting to see, because his was higher than mine, and then the discrepancy was less than mine. And she was saying that the grip strength can tie into athleticism, and then
I've heard that before. Like grips, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've heard that like your grip strength can tie into like how much central nervous system recruitment you can get.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think do you think it makes it easier to hold on to things, or does it actually give you more grip strength if you have bigger hands?
I mean, it would be like a surface area thing at that point in time, right?
Yeah, like because I know that like if you have bigger hands, it's gonna be easier. It's easier for me to hold on to a girl's bar than a guy's bar.
Right.
So like, does it just make it easier to hold on to stuff, or does it actually make could you actually squeeze that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Harder
because you had bigger hands. Yeah, maybe that would be like a discrepancy in the study then. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because I mean, like I know, like I have Cannon, he has bigger hands than me.
Right.
And he coming into CrossFit, he could double overhand, no hook grip, deadlift 405 for reps, and I cannot do that. I can't. Yeah. Which is just it's pretty interesting.
Right.
But
he was a wrestler too.
Right.
Which is
But I would still say I have better relative strength.
Yeah.
Grip on gymnastics doesn't blow me up as much as it would him.
Yeah.
But he could probably hang on. He doesn't have to hook grip in workouts where I have to. He can hold on to a deadlift bar with no hook better than I can.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a cool. You just saw some very interesting maxes from people because you're like, wait, his grip strength killed him?
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
Right.
That's
what when I saw that workout, 21.3 into 21.4, it never even crossed my mind that grip was going to be an issue for people, which was a fault on my
I had a feeling, but I didn't know it was going to be debilitating.
Yeah. And then I talked to somebody else right after that, and they were only talking about grip strength and grip in that workout. Man, I didn't that thought didn't even cross my mind. That was kind of an interesting, it was almost sneaky that it came up as that was kind of the fatigue factor.
See, the only way that I knew that it was going to is because you had given me a couple times. You'd given me some legless rope climbs into handstand walks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or it was legless rope climbs into handstand ramp.
Okay.
And I was like, holy crap! When my grip is blown up, it is really hard to stabilize.
Yeah.
And then also I had maxed. I had a heavy snatch after a bunch of pulling stuff.
Yeah.
On a few occasions.
Yeah.
And just noticed how much my overhead stability was affected by grip.
Yeah.
So once that was announced, I was like, people are in for a surprise. Especially if you just don't have good shoulder stability.
Right.
If you don't have good shoulder stability in that, and then the grip on top of it.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting one because I knew just being in the sport for so long, you kind of pick up on things, little things
like that. Yeah.
And I noticed every time my grip is blown up and I have to lift. Anything overhead, keeping the hook grip the entire time.
Oh yeah.
When I'm catching the snatch, keeping that hook grip makes me more stable. So going into that, I was I'm gonna hold the hook grip because it's gonna be more stable. And gave that advice to athletes, and it did help.
Right.
If you have the positions for it, because it does make it a little bit trickier.
Right. I almost wonder too if it's some a little bit of bias in programming too. I try and give people a lot more grip work in their program, so maybe it was maybe it's bias in program design or something that helps out with that.
Oh, for sure. I smash people's grip.
Yeah. So it's just I wonder too, if some of these people or individuals that were really I actually had an athlete that was her grip went on her, and we haven't worked a ton on grip stuff at this point in time. So I almost wonder if some of these athletes that didn't have grip work, or their grip was failing them, they just haven't had that bias in their design.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think it has to do a lot with this just comes in with experience, is knowing how to use your gymnastics grips properly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you a lot of
a
tutorial.
Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
I'm just blown away on the amount of people that don't know how to use them properly. If you're using your gymnastics grip and your grip is up here and you don't have sweatbands on, you're not able to use the grip like you should. If you need to have sweatbands, your grip down here, you need to tighten it all the way. So when you flop the grip over, that grip holds your grip in place rather than just being on your hand. And also, if you flop your grip over and it holds really tight right here, your hands aren't gonna rip.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I saw a lot of people, their hands just got trashed.
Right.
And I mean, heck, I think we've done over 200, bar contractions
Right.
in a training session before my hands were fine.
Yeah.
So like 90 was like, especially breaking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe if, I would have gone, like 30 rest 3 minutes, 30 rest 3 minutes, and then 30 bar muscle ups unbroken rest 3 minutes. Maybe that's when you would have started to see like some ripping.
Right.
For me personally.
Right.
But I think, just being able to use your grips properly on that one was, pretty huge. And just making sure that like you're on a really nice like tacky bar.
Yeah.
Which actually it would seem like it would make it worse, but like if you're on a slick bar, your hand actually moves more.
Right. So
there's not as much friction.
Yeah, because that's what causes the tearing is the actual moving of the hand on the bar.
Right. So if you're on toe to bar and your hands don't, like literally you're locked in, you're not moving.
Right. You're fine.
Then
it just becomes like, can your shoulders and elbows hold on?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. And honestly, like if you really need to, I mean, heck, you can use your grips on the barbell. I do.
Yeah.
Some, like not on that one because
Right.
I didn't really need it. But if my grip's really blown up, I'll use them on a barbell too. And especially with my hands are tender.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty curious to see what happens on the leaderboard from the Open to quarterfinals and kind of like the change up and what we'll see like within the top 10, top 50 or like top 120 in America and how much the Open correlates to the top the people going to sanctions.
Yeah, I was talking about that last night, like how it would be cool if like Watt Analytics or one of those pages would do it, but like your exact percentile compared in the Open and then compared to quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And like, I understand like the guys at the top are still going to be at the top of quarterfinals, but just how much discrepancy there is.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be super interesting.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be a discrepancy.
Yeah.
But just how much of one and then how much, like, if there's 6 workouts in a weekend, you're probably going to be able to do all of them and then pick maybe 1 or 2 that you can redo.
Retest,
and that would be in a situation where you're doing like, maybe you're doing 1 Thursday night, you're doing 2,
depending on when they release them.
You're doing 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, maybe you're you're like, to get any redos, you're gonna have to make it 4 days.
Right.
Work. Or 3, but
then,
one of those.
One of them's like open for retest.
But like if you're starting on Friday, I mean that's gonna be tough.
Depending on the number of workouts too. So that'll be interesting, like the retest component of it. But it'll just be interesting to see, like if we can get data on it, it'll be cool for us coaches to give a better game plan of like how to like, hey, like look, you were easily inside the top 10% last year, like, and look at how much you jumped up in the quarterfinals. Like you don't need to retest these workouts. Like your confidence can be a little bit lower going into quarterfinals. And you're gonna take a huge jump, or like it'll give, maybe not lower, but like it'll give the athlete confidence that going into quarterfinals they can make that big jump again.
And that was something that I really tried to like. There's only so much that athletes will, I guess some put their pride down, but like that's why I really tried to drive home over this is like just try to do the workouts once. Put a good effort in, but no one remembers the team that goes undefeated in the regular season and loses the first round playoffs. No one does. That's essentially what you have here. All you got to do is qualify. I know there's like you don't like. I get it. Like I wanted to be barely making it in or something like that. So put a good effort in once, and if anything, giving yourself a more one-and-done mentality is going to make you lock in more to that one.
And it'll transfer over to it'll transfer over better to like your quarter, maybe not quarterfinals, but like your continental or sectional performances. And
you only have so many matches to burn. Like if you can train through, and it's not really necessarily like you're not going to lose fitness.
Right.
You're gonna get an intense workout. As long as you're still working out, your fitness is not going to go down. So that's not really even it. It's really just your CNS.
Yeah.
Like if you're redoing them 2-3 times,
Yep.
you know, it's and really for the most part, like I think it'll be easier to talk people into not redoing next year. But it's just like it's not going to matter how you do with an open. No sponsors or people are going to look up your open score.
Right.
Be like, oh, he did really good in the open. I don't really care that he got killed in quarterfinals. No one's going to think. People are going to think.
At least once quarterfinals happen. Like right now, people care, but like once quarterfinals happen, it's going to be like no one's going to remember.
Right. Yeah. If I'm looking someone up, I'm like, oh, well,
how they do in quarterfinals.
Yeah. You know,
or how they do at continentals.
Right.
I think it was just like some of that old open mentality.
Oh, it definitely is, and I definitely understand it. And I'm not going to be one of those. You know, I'm a big fan of being a guide and letting athletes find stuff out on their own. So it's like I'm going to encourage them to do what I think. But then if they're leaning towards one or the other, I'm like, look, like if this is going to give you confidence or make you feel better, then do it. Or on the flip side of that, they might redo it, maybe not do as good, they're wrecked, blah, blah, blah. And then next year, they're going to be like, I'm not going to do that.
So then it's
so maybe just a more of a learning experience.
For sure.
And just like learning their bodies on, okay, I know that I need to have as little effort into the open to do well. And then there's other people, like they need that confidence of pushing really, really hard in the open to know that they can push hard. It's like a stimulation thing. Like they need to know that they can. Which, I mean, if you need to know that to feel good about going to the quarterfinals, then
I think the retests are going to be a lot more like athlete dependent and like, hey, like, do you need the confidence going into quarterfinals, or are you okay like not looking at the leaderboard in the open and just like putting in your scores and trusting that you know you are going to be inside of that top 10%. It's not going to matter when you get to quarterfinals. So,
so like I know I've redone qualifiers just because sometimes I'm like, you know, I really don't want to do intervals of this for the next 8 weeks. So I really want to make sure I get a good score.
You
know? I fucking hate these two movements. I'm just going to get a good score so I don't have to do it anymore.
And I can be done.
Looks like people are rolling in the gym here though, so probably wrap it up. Do you have any last thoughts? Or?
No, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it progresses from here. I'm excited to see kind of the battery of testing for the quarterfinals. You know, who does what where, and then, I mean, really seeing like, I think there's going to be a better correlation to qualifier performance in quarterfinals than we've ever seen before in any other qualifier. I think, you know, a lot of times there's been some people that they kill the open, maybe not so much in person, or vice versa. They struggle in the open, they do really well in in-person comps. I think that we're going to see a really good positive correlation. So that I am looking for.
Because like it's almost like the quarterfinals isn't any different than the open this year. So, we'll probably see like a little bit more of a positive correlation on that, and then probably not necessarily an inverse, but less of a correlation from quarterfinals to continentals.
Right.
I'm just excited. Like it feels like it's like actually CrossFit again. At least coming from my background, like way back in the day. Like we have you guys training as a team again. Like, that's sick as
it's been awesome.
Like, people are excited. It feels like people are excited about it again. Which is like, you know, sanctions were cool, but people were just kind of like a little bit hesitant on what is happening.
It was a mess.
And like, and now it's like, this is a new thing, but people are like, we understand the structure to it a lot better, and it's very like a very clear-cut path, which is what, you know, regionals was back in the day. I'm looking forward to the season, and like looking forward to just like having some continuity and consistency in the sport again.
I think it'll be a good year, and I think next year we're going to see the participation go up
Way more,
even
yeah,
more. Because
yeah.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I just hope all the ones in the U.S. actually end up going down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Because
that would be annoying.
We need in person for the sport to grow.
Yes, 100%.
For sure.
We need CBS.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, man.
Right on. Thanks for listening, guys. You guys can check us out on our Instagram page. Probably watch us on YouTube, so you guys can follow us on our Instagram page, blacklisted.hq. If you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts, check us out on YouTube. We're going to put some other videos out on YouTube. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on, Logan.
Yeah,
and
man.
chatting
Always a
about
pleasure.
this. So, cool. We'll catch you guys next time.